BEPRO on me. We still have a double duck. These guys are a lot bigger than they were last time. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Yeah, ducks have a hard time trusting people. But you're getting used to it, I think. All right, so we're going to cover BEPRO here. Let me set these ducks outside because ducks eat and drink an incredible amount of food and water, and they then shit incredible amounts of shit. So I'm going to get them out of my office, and we're going to cover BEPRO, the state of BEPRO. Let's go. Oh, be quiet. I'm always nice to you. Here we go. Yeah, once the market gets hot again, I'll probably have somebody edit my videos for me, so you can just skip through points like that. But anyway, okay, so BEPRO. Here's some good news. In general rules of thumb, altcoins you should start buying in a bear market, even though the bear market might not be quite the same ever again as it was the last two, but the general rule of thumb from the past two bear markets is you're pretty dang safe buying altcoins after they drop 95%. Just a rule of thumb. You could be at a loss for 6 months because it could end up going 98% down from its all-time high. Sure. But in terms of a mentality of I don't need to be rich and retire within 6 months, but rather perhaps have a great run during the next bull run, that's when you buy altcoins, 95% down. So BEPRO has gone 95% down and is currently attempting to create a higher low for the first time since, I guess it kind of made a higher low here, but that didn't work out. So since here, I guess. And then it failed, and then it crashed down. So if price can get above this height here, or at least close a candle, let me take that back. It doesn't need to get that high, actually. This higher low will be confirmed as a daily change or trend and daily trend, a change in daily trend, if a candle can close above this point right here. So I'll leave that line there. If BEPRO can both get above its daily 10 EMA, close a candle above this line, it is officially in a daily uptrend, which means it's also in a 4-hour uptrend, 1-hour uptrend, all that kind of stuff, right? Well, maybe not down to 1 hour, but 4-hour and daily would be the same. The weekly trend, though, which is the problem. The weekly trend is down. The week came to test the previous market cycle high, almost to the T. Actually, I didn't get that right. Right there at the candle, and make it flat. Yeah, it almost hit it exactly to the dot on the dollar chart. So if you zoom in here at the candle height, and price came down on that week to get it. So it looks like that could be a pretty good bounce point. However, the weekly trend still has not changed because the candles are getting lower and lower. So you can essentially not even look at these wicks. Just look at candle closures. They're getting lower and lower. So it's still in a very clear weekly downtrend. And the daily trend has to be changed for quite a while. Like multiple weeks, I mean, perhaps 2 months, in order for the weekly trend to completely change, because you have to come up for a few weeks. So let's call that a month. Got to come down for at least a half a month. So there's 1.5. And then you got, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, got to get above that high, because this higher low is not confirmed until price breaks the previous local high on the week. So that's like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and maybe another 3 weeks for 10 weeks total. So best case, BEPRO could be in a weekly uptrend, which is what you want to look for, in 10 weeks. Maybe 8, but more likely 10. Okay? Unless it does something stupid, like just take off, which that could happen, but it could happen. All right, so those are the obvious points of BPRO right now. I'm not going to cover fundamentals in this. I know a lot of people have said, oh, Rui's done this and that with the circulating supply again. I don't know much about that. And if from a fundamental perspective, all I know is that BPRO seems to be trying to dabble in a lot of things instead of being very, very focused. But what they have been focused on, which is good, is that they are essentially a BaaS coin, which means blockchain as a service. But they're a niche BaaS. So BaaS in and of itself is a niche. So things like Oregon Trail, which ticker is TRAC, Trias, a coin that I'm, I guess, staking and hodling is OLT, and a coin that I'm still at a loss at 4 years later because I bought Glory and I bought green candles in 2017 is Knowles. So all of these coins are BaaS, blockchain as a service. Is TRAC a block? Actually, TRAC might not be. I don't think they sell modular blockchain system. No, actually, TRAC is not. TRAC is a, sorry. Oregon Trail, I believe, is, no, it's a mixture. It's a blockchain as a service for supply chain, I believe, which I think it's BaaS. It's definitely a supply chain coin, kind of like VeChain and Tone and all that stuff. But anyway, the one cool thing, if I can say anything fundamentally about BPRO, is it is a blockchain as a service company, blockchain company, specifically catering to sports gambling, all that kind of stuff. So that when other players and companies want to save money and have less overhead, which is smart, by using blockchain to run a business of sports gambling, this and that, sports betting, they can hop over to BPRO and pick the blockchain functions that best fit their business needs so they can run a business with very few employees, similar to what DeFi is doing. So it's extremely similar to DeFi. The whole point of DeFi is that you can have a $2 billion lending bank with 4 employees total, including the owner. Because a lot of the functions are built on code and smart contracts where they automate what people sitting at their desk looking at cat videos and on their phone, perhaps entry level salary positions at banks, what they're doing, they're wasting a bunch of time and money by having those people on board to some degree. It's essentially looking to automate that. Kind of how DeFi is kind of like robots being put in McDonald's or something, right? Okay, and that's why it's more profitable. So end rant there. Because I know a lot of people know more fundamentals than I do. And the only reason I bought BPRO down here is because on the website and all the things I looked at on Twitter and everything, it just had great pumponomics. It had DeFi, it had protocol and all that kind of stuff. It had almost all the buzzwords of the run. So I knew it was going to run, and it was a small cap at the time. I thought it was a 5 million cap, but in fact it was 15, and no one really knew. So, but we'll I'll forgive them for that, because Knowles actually did the same thing to me in 2017, something extremely similar. So they're not the only company to do it. Don't get too, wigged out about it. But anyway, so BPRO has fallen 95%. Let's go look at what Cardano did. Last bear market, and I think most of you who follow my channel already know, but let's just go down to the first dip. 98%, second dip, 99%. So it lost 99% of its value. So let's go to where Cardano lost 95. See if there's any, So look, right here is where Cardano had lost 95% of its value, and that would have been a rule of thumb, good time to buy. Just a plain rule of thumb, because you just sometimes got to pick a time to buy, right? Or dollar cost average in. Buy some here. Don't take out loans to do it. Buy some more down. And if it starts going up, then buy more on the way up as well, right? So Cardano was unable to get above its weekly 10 EMA, and then it continued to go down farther. So for BPRO, that is what you want to look out for. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, we'll have to pick a lower drop because it only dropped 95% total. Let's pick like 85 or no, to this dip right here. So yeah, 80, yeah, right at 85%. So for Bitcoin and Ethereum, when they fall 85%, that's a pretty good rule of thumb that you're probably getting a pretty good buy, even though it might go down a little farther. It's over time going to be a good buy. 85% for your biggest cap points. So it fell even farther after what point? After it failed to get above the weekly 10 EMA. And I bet on the daily, there was some type of squeeze play there. I don't know if that's factual, but let's actually put on some more EMAs. Let's see what this is doing. So the 10 was below everything there. That means the dailies probably was too. So this is the point it failed. So it couldn't get back above its daily 55, which roughly aligned with the weekly 10. So over back on Cardano, I would bet that it also failed the daily 55, just taking a loose gamble here, even though no one's betting on me or betting on it. So this is the exact point I said earlier. I said, what, 95%? Pretty sure this is it. That can't be the right chart. Oh, that's not the right chart. So going back to Cardano, go to the daily, pick 95%, wherever the hell that was. Yep, at this base here. So I'll mark it right there. So I'm going to zoom in. And look what happened. Failed its daily 55, which does align oftentimes with the weekly 10. Because 7 times 10 is 70. And 1 times 55 is 55. So in the end, they're fairly close to each other, right? They move fairly similarly. Very similar to how the 4-hour 89 EMA is almost always pretty much in line with the daily 10, right? Okay. So on BPRO, what you want to be looking out for, if this rally is going to be sustained, the trend is, if a coin is going to be done correcting, it will not fail its daily 55. And if it does, you want to be pretty careful. You might actually take profits at that point and look to buy back lower or to buy back a higher low. That could happen as well. So let's take a look at this daily 55 on Ethereum and Cardano, because they were altcoins, right? And see how they behave to the daily 55 once they finally broke above it. So let's start off with Cardano. So I'm trying to give you tools to look at BPRO in regards to, shit, this is it. It's going to take off now. Man, I cannot believe Cardano's staying this strong. I am actually really, really surprised here. Like, that's good for Cardano. I really didn't expect that. But after losing 99% of its value last crypto winter bear market, I guess it was due for a stronger one. But anyway, so let's take off all these besides the daily 55, and let's actually hide the 55. Okay, so I'm thinking it looks like it crossed the 55. I bet the 55 had something to do with this bullish run here. So it failed the 55 here, which means the 55 was coming down here. I bet this rally here marked where the 55 went. And I did not plan this. So let's actually take a look. Oh, kind of close. So this rally did have something to do with going above the 55, using it as support, and then rallying. So that's what you want to see with BPRO. So it didn't even get rejected, form a higher low, and then go. It went above it based on it and then took off. So let's zoom right in on this so you can see how this played out. Actually, no, it did fail it. Yep, it came up, failed it first, built support just under it, then broke through, tested it one more time, and then pushed off of it. So this daily 55 is a big deal, right? In bear markets. And here was the point where we said it failed. Well, look, it failed like exactly. And you could tell right away that it was going to fail, at least within a few days, because especially after it broke this structure right here, yeah, that's downtime, right? And that's probably what assisted the acceleration down, as it broke this structure, this higher low structure, and it broke it and just crashed through. So on BPRO, you want to either be looking out for this, and there's going to be some type of structure where there's a higher, it gets rejected, forms a higher low, and then breaks through that, or it could just get rejected and crash back down through a previous higher low. But either way, you're looking for a rejection and breaking through some type of previous higher low, or to consolidate under, which here it did look like it until this day right here. So it looked like it wanted to consolidate under it and break through, but it did not. So that's the type of play that you want to be kind of cautious about. Whenever BPRO touches its 55 EMA, you want to start looking at it that whole week. That's when you're going to know if it's going to start taking off with a pretty strong probability. So let's see how this plays out on Bitcoin. I'm actually kind of interested now. Well, dang. I guess the daily 55 is a big deal. Look at that. Shoot, I bet I can just trade off the daily 55. My gosh, that gets a lot of things right. I didn't know that. Wow. So yeah, Bitcoin also rejected, consolidated under, crashed or busted through. Tested it. Definitely didn't even consolidate. So you could tell right away, once it was breaking this, like this, maybe not even higher low, but this structure here, once it broke through there, you knew it was going to fail. So I guess there are other variants, because the next higher low is here, and that's a long way down. So if it breaks, so maybe BPRO would do something like this if it has an aggressive push up or something. You would probably want to look at that market structure right there. But once it breaks through, it would accelerate down. So the day 55 is kind of a big deal in terms of pulling out of a bear market. So that's what you want to be looking for on BPRO. In summary. Now, let's look at BPRO versus Bitcoin. So you can observe this and, be better prepared for future market cycles. So there was a point of interest, all with a bunch of price action right here. And look where BPRO went straight back down to. Exactly there. I wouldn't have thought it was going to do that. I would have thought it would come down to somewhere like here versus Bitcoin, which is just below this line I had drawn. Or even up like here or something, which it kind of tried. See all the support there? So it tried to do that. I'm actually kind of surprised it lost all of its gains, folks. That really stinks. However, now that BPRO has a bigger following, even though a lot of that following is saying, well, I got screwed by BPRO. No, you didn't. You got screwed by yourself chasing these green candles, yo. And not selling when I said specifically, it's not going to go higher for a long while. It could go back down to a penny. It would be healthy, right? So like for folks like leaving those comments on my channel, I don't freaking understand why you're doing that. I literally gave you the exact day to sell. And 15 seconds later, in that video, on the exact day of the ultimate high of BPRO, I said this could come back crashing down to a penny. It's the video with the fireball thumbnail at roughly 39 minutes and 30 seconds or something, right at 39 minutes. If you want to go to that, I gave you the heads up. So I don't want comments about BPRO screwed me. You no, I did not. I actually told people don't chase green candles, and it's going to go sideways and down for over a month. And it's not going to pass that trend line that I had drawn at the time. And it didn't. It wicked through, but then it just crashed down through it, right? Exactly as I predicted. No, it actually crashed a lot lower. I did not expect this. So what you also might be able to look at is, let's look at Ethereum or Cardano versus Bitcoin and see if there are any similarities in the daily 55 and when things finally get bullish. So here you had a false rally, but that's very tradable. So that actually kind of worked there as well, especially if you saw this clear bull trap. That's just too aggressive. Whenever you see candles like this, you need to start selling. No, it didn't really give a very good indication. So versus Bitcoin did not work quite as well. So sticking with the dollar versus the dollar, though, it seems to have worked very well. So what else can we say versus about BPRO here? Let's put it on the weekly and see if anything pops out to me. Let's go to the short ribbons. Okay, so the weekly ribbons are crossing down. It's not good. The last time they crossed down, BPRO took quite a while to get back above. So let's say cross happened there. It took 126 days to get back above. Cross down about here. Sitting at 50 days. So BPRO might only be halfway to recovery. It might go like this and go on another run, starting late this year. Right about the time Bitcoin, I'm guessing, would be back around 55K or above 50K. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when I say I would prefer to hold Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, but Bitcoin mostly, over any altcoin until Bitcoin gets above its all-time high. I think Bitcoin, on average, will make better gains than the vast majority of altcoins until it breaks all-time highs, or at least closes a candle above, let's say 60K, something like that, a weekly candle. Then altcoins will start outperforming Bitcoin. But before that happens, why guess which altcoins might outperform Bitcoin until Bitcoin gets to an all-time high? So accumulating BPRO right now, yeah, there's pros to it. It's had its 95% correction. It's trying to form a higher low, but it's not even close to its daily 55. So, it could be better to buy Bitcoin if you think Bitcoin's going to go up. So whenever you plan to buy Bitcoin, whether it's 19K, 14K, 11K, 23K, or now, which I just went in now. I bought most, I sold altcoins for Bitcoin yesterday or the day before. But anyway, whenever you're planning on buying anything with your tether, think about it like this. If Bitcoin truly, on average, outperforms altcoins from here to here, you have all of, so let's say, around October, that's a little too short. To November. Yeah, somewhere like that. So from here to here, that's 100 days. So why not take 100 days of more gains, sell Bitcoin, and then you can actually buy more BPRO because Bitcoin outperformed it. Even though Bitcoin or BPRO's price has gone up a little bit, who cares? Bitcoin's price went up higher. So you have more money to buy BPRO, and you could buy more BPRO had you bought it here and now and not Bitcoin. So am I making sense? Because your gains will be better on Bitcoin until about here. I think altcoins are going to be a dog. Maybe a false rally, but come back down. So yeah, finding a bull trap in alts that pop, that's actually a good trade, but you want to sell into that, right? So this bottoming out could take a while, folks. I don't think it's just going to go straight up. I think it's going to look like this until October. And I think that's going to be true for most of altcoins. And it could actually get worse. Could go like this and go down and then bottom and then take till middle of next year to even get past a penny. It could even be worse than what I'm saying, right? However, it could be better. It could be close to its bottoming out, and it could start rounding and going up sooner, especially if Bitcoin starts taking off. Then altcoin season should be back in business around October, November, but still the same theory applies. Altcoins are going to bleed for a while until Bitcoin gets close to all-time highs, right? So my BPRO analysis has Bitcoin mixed in it specifically because it could help you if this theory plays out. You have a better chance of getting more BPRO if you're looking to get more BPRO low, right? So that's why I'm mixing in a Bitcoin analysis with this. So that's what we got for BPRO. I got to go put my ducks back in the pen. They actually have a pretty nice big area with all the chickens. I built a fence just for them. I essentially created a rectangle adjacent to my current existing fence. Yeah, it's a pretty big area. It's meant for a dog, but I didn't put a dog back there. I have about 20 chickens and 2 ducks. So anyway, I got to go put them up. Quack, quack. You just got typified.